Day 13 is here. Mr. Beast $1 million puzzle solving. Running a bit late myself. Was planning on doing a stream during the day on Saturday, and then we didn't get hint 13 until like late in the day, a lot later than what we've been getting. So I wasn't able to do anything last night, just doing a morning stream now, and then I might go live again at night, Sunday night, just because if we do get another hint, I think we're just so close to solving this thing. So yeah, this is crunch time now. I think we're really close. So let's take a look at hint 13. February 21st, everything's out. We said this hunt could be solved on day one, and that's true. We said this a bunch of times that probably this was the case, that it was solvable. You could maybe guess the answer. Oh, sorry about that. It was solvable, but actually figuring out the format of the answer would be like near impossible. So, like they're saying, it would have been a lot harder then. All the clues we provided have given you a much fuller picture of the world. Again, we just don't really know what we're doing with these clues, but it seems like there's something where we're like mapping out a picture, something visually. He keeps giving us these clues that point to mapping out locations, looking at a full picture, like an outside view, zooming out lens, kind of reframing the way we're looking at this. It keeps also talking about charting a path, so now you have the opportunity to chart a path to the million. Chart in my mind means something moving along the sea. With our beast travel, where we've talked about travel by boat, that's to me what that seems like. We also talked about that Titanic hoop clue, which seems like it could have to do with that. So yeah, like I said, everything's out, and let's see what he gave us for hint 13. Said we've seen quite a few solutions to every puzzle in the hunt except one. A computer screen gave you a lot of the same type of logic puzzle, like a whole bunch. But those of you solving alone have been limited in your ability to see more than one. No more. Check your puzzle card for this puzzle. It'll give you quite the assortment of options. So definitely wasn't a major hint like we got the day before. And it seems like they're once again referencing those Sudoku puzzles that we've kind of been keeping in the background, and we know that eventually they were going to be important for something, but we haven't figured out what. And then every time we're thinking about them, he gives us like look, a distraction, and we think about something else. Now it seems like we're once again talking about these Sudoku puzzles where everyone was only given the ability to see one, but different people were getting different ones, so you kind of had to like work as a group to see them. He was saying, oh, maybe you need like 1,000,000 friends to be able to see them all or something like that. Hold on a second. Okay. So yeah, I really don't know that I got a whole lot out of this. Also talks about like the computer screen that gave you a lot of the same type of logic puzzle. I know I've seen people talking about like this computer screen with like the elephant and the witch and whatever else is on there. I really wish that I had the answer for why we're still talking about Sudoku, what the Sudoku matters for, but I don't at this point. And in terms of everything up here, I mean, he's saying everything's out, so to me that means that there's a possibility we don't get any more hints. Like, everything's out, all the puzzles are out, all the clues, all the hints are out. This could just mean that all the puzzles are out, like you have the framework for solving it, but maybe there's still another hint that talks about the actual like format of the answer or something like that. So it's going to be super interesting to see if Sunday we do get hint 14 or if this is out. I think that if we do get hint 14 on Sunday, it's going to be something that gives us what we need to solve it, and I think within 24 hours the puzzle will be solved. Potentially even like a couple hours, potentially even like a couple of minutes, depending on what the hint is. If we don't get any more hints, then I think this thing could go on a while since it hasn't been solved already. I know people have been wondering if maybe their answers are correct or if anyone has solved it. We haven't seen anything confirming that it's been solved. Let me just go to Jimmy's X account. I know that he's been giving updates on there. This isn't the updated feed, but nothing's come out that the puzzle's solved at this point. We've been following kind of the Poly Market view of this, and it seems like everyone's becoming more and more confident that this isn't going to be solved by the end of the month, which is weird because to me, I think that we're actually getting really close. Like people are saying everything's released now. Um, so it's just interesting to see that people now think it's 22% chance of being solved by the end of the month versus my personal opinion is that it's a decent chance to be solved today or by the end of this weekend, by Monday, whatever it might be. Yeah, just super interesting. I don't think anyone has solved it yet. If not, then there would be lifetime wealth to be obtained on Polymarket. Maybe even that would be the second place prize right there. But see, I just don't have a whole lot for today. Been working through these clues that we went through. Obviously, we had said on the 20th in Jimmy's Vault, first part sticks Romy results in between stage 1 answer pairs. Last part he showed at start. So we think that this is giving us some of the formatting for that final answer. Like the first part of it sticks Romy results, which we don't know what Romy results mean. This could mean stage 2 answer locations from Beast Travel website. It could mean, like for this, how we're talking Oil City, it could be whatever Oil City leads to is a Romy result. Maybe this is the Romy result, these 12-letter words that we have down here. So we're not confirmed on what those are, but essentially we're taking one of those things, sticking them in between stage 1 answer pairs, stage 1 or 2 locations, and then last part he showed at start. Don't know what this means either. We think that this is the Super Bowl commercial. Does it mean the start of the Super Bowl commercial here where we have the red dollar bills and all of this? Does it mean the end of the commercial when he pops out and we see this ball and we see this aerial view of this location? Really, it could be anything, I guess, in this commercial in my mind of what it could mean by what he showed at the start. But this hint feels huge. It's just that I still don't know what to do with it. I still think we're missing one more piece. We know first part, we know last part. We don't know the number of parts, right? So are there 2 parts? Are there 3 parts? Are there 4 parts? Like there could be middle pieces. We have the first and last part and there's middle pieces. So people have been submitting answers. I've seen people say that they actually reached like a cap on how many answers they could submit. So people are like rapid firing this stuff. And I do think if we get a hint 14, then we should all be rapid firing this stuff. Personally, I am going to the Rocket League Boston Major this afternoon, so if the hint comes out in the middle of the day, knowing my luck it will, I might miss a window of time to solve this thing, but be ready to go. If you're actually been putting time into this, if you want to solve and win it, if you want to have a chance, just be ready to go. Maybe it is solvable now. Technically, it's been that case the entire time, but I do think that, like I said, if hint 14 comes out, then it's crunch time. Be ready to go. Just looking through the notes here on the Google Docs, a lot of these answers are filled in and confirmed for the trips by boat, which, why does my Beast Travel no longer show trips by boat? I have to refresh it. That's weird. But all of these puzzles that came out the other day a lot of them have been solved here. So a lot of the ones that are in here are confirmed. I'd feel pretty good about these. And these obviously gave us the letters that we formed into this sentence that we've been talking about. This is Retrocraft's interpretation of the final answer. Let's see what he says. He says it'll be a 2-word phrase such that the first word results from taking a pair of phase 1 answers and placing them around cryptically phase 2 answers, alternatively taking phase 1 answers and placing them around 12-letter phase 2 words, kind of what I was saying. The second is a reference to the cash in Jimmy's Vault shown at the start of the Super Bowl ad. I don't necessarily know if that's to be true. Again, it's just his theory. And I also don't think that it's going to be a 2-word phrase. My opinion is it's going to be like 3 or 4. And maybe like today we'll find out like what the middle part is, and that could give us like the clue that we need. But I think we're still missing one more thing at this point. If you want to spend today trying to submit 2-word phrases, I can't blame you. Potentially that could be, the solution. But I think I'm waiting for one more hint before I try that. And if we don't get a hint today, then I guess who knows, right? Because maybe we're never getting any more hints. They said everything's out. So something to monitor. Obviously, strategy can be whatever you think is, the best way of going about this. That's my own personal strategy, is to wait, in part because I just don't have time during today to do it, but I do have all night to work on this. So hopefully, if there's a hint, it comes out during the nighttime. Looking at the Mr. Beast files, wasn't anything new in here that I really wanted to talk about. This is just the video. He said that the clue told us that the last part he showed at the start, so we assume the start means the Super Bowl video from 2 Sundays ago, where it all began, 2 weeks ago now. Crazy to think about. Let's just see what some YouTube comments are saying. While the final code isn't spelled out, here are the specific hitting clues. Yeah, people are just going over stuff that probably has already been talked about in Discords for a bit now. I loaded up my B-Spot to see if there was anything in here that I wanted to talk about. Of course, it did lock me out, as is often the case with B-Spot. And there have been answers that have been updating, and people have been talking about in the Discord, but nothing that stuck out to me is this is important for the final answer. This is what we need. I would keep looking at those, but there's just nothing for me personally that's kind of stuck out as new. I mean, they keep just peppering us with hints and clues on there, but does any of it matter? I don't know. This is a Sudoku board. Again, today's hint number 13 seems to reference this Sudoku. We're still getting the same 271829. Maybe this code means something. But and it also, I remember my B-Spot was saying something about the columns without any clues. So I don't know if this intersection where there's no clues matters. Again, it's just B-Spot just peppers you with these random clues, and we don't know what to do with them. So I don't know if that matters, but I do remember seeing something about the column and the row that with no clues. So these blank ones could be important for something. Really just have no idea. Going through social media, Lone Shark Games, hint number 13 for the $1 Million Puzzle is live. So what time was this? Because it was 11 hours ago. Yeah, 10 p.m. at night is when this came out, or at least when they tweeted about it. Maybe it was a little bit earlier than that, but it's tough when we were getting them in the morning and then had all day to look at them. When it comes out at night, it's just tough to have the time to, really dig into that. Nothing else new that's popping up on social media. This was the podcast we listened to the other day, so yeah, just not much going on. I saw a lot on Discord of people, kind of staying up all night trying to solve this stuff. Can't recommend doing that right now, but like I said, tonight, if we get one more hint, I think that's the time, if ever, to pull the all-nighter. Just looking at what people are saying in here, going through some theories. Is anyone charting stage 1 pairs by nautical miles? A lot of people trying a lot of different stuff, converting colors to some other patterns. B-Spot, boat and locations, Casablanca. Just trying to see if anything else is, people are looking at this differently than we have. The the 0 converts to an O. I saw that on my B-Spot as well. But again, it's these are talking about earlier clues and stuff from stage 1, stage 2. It's how much of this do we need to solve at this point? Maybe we don't even need to solve any of it anymore. The Sudoku, everyone seems to think, is what the hint was talking about, but what do we do with the Sudoku? Nobody knows. Either the answer is wrong or we're missing something here, though. Harvard doesn't even work for any of the boat places. I just have no idea what. Oh, let's look at this GitHub link as well, because this has been a good source, but I just don't even know what people are thinking at this point. Why did I copy that 10 times? 1 mil Sudoku, so in other words, 1,000 unique Sudoku puzzles. Here's all the links to them if you did want to look at any of them. Just trying to see if that blank column and row thing is in here. It's not. But again, all these old ones maybe didn't matter for anything. Maybe it is just that new one that we're getting that's the important one. And that one does have that blank column and blank row. Just want to see what else they're talking about on this site. Where's the normal link? Let me just... Okay, this one will let me go to all the different tabs. This airport code grid was super interesting as well. This could connect to our other hint about connecting the answers, first part, last part. The 3D globe, looking at them that way. I mean, this is a good way of, if you're trying to chart locations and thinking about paths and stuff like that. I mean, maybe it's the path the Titanic took of, going across the Atlantic. If you did that with other locations and map that same kind of like Nike swoosh of a path. I mean, just don't know what to do with it. I think we're still missing one more piece of this, but there's just so much out there right now, and they're telling us everything's out. So in theory, you could solve this if you want to really dig into the weeds and just try to connect all these little breadcrumbs that we have. Still seems like there's a lot of good conversations going on in this Serious Scavenger Hunt server. The Lone Shark Games server seems like maybe it's cooled down a little bit. B-spot messages people are talking about. Wild theory, but I heard someone say that using 25 of the Sudoku leads to the phrase, "Why did I do this? Because I'm bored and need something to count on." This is a reference to the Counting to 100,000 video, which has the exact phrase, the entire video. Below it says, "Asian sticker is my best friend." If we use the answer someone else got from the stage 2 answer, which was a Slack bot is on 25 screens inside this vault, and replace the 25 with my best friend, and move some of the words from the anagram, we get a new phrase. A Slack bot is my best friend on the screen inside the vault. Could be nothing, or could be something, or could be nothing. Yeah, I don't think that's anything, but I've been wrong about so many things that when people throw stuff out, I'm like, hey, you're probably right. Yeah, just nothing that's like sticking out to me. I've been keeping up with all these Discord messages and conversations people have been having, but nothing that in my mind has stuck out to me is like, we need to run with this. We need to, this is important. This is people moving in the right direction. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just all speculation, and I think maybe we're still missing what the middle part of the answer is. So, I'm not going to put more time in until we get a hint 14. If Monday comes around and there's no hint at all, then I think we can kind of go back to the drawing board and maybe try to dig through all this, because maybe we're not getting any more hints, but I'm pretty confident we're going to get a hint 14. And if we do, that'll probably mean that we're very close to getting this solved. So like I said, now is the time to be putting in effort. Now is the time, or I guess now is the time to be ready to go for when that hint 14 comes. Keep refreshing the site. If you're in Discord, keep checking Discord. People are going to post about it when it's there. So as soon as hint 14 does come out, that to me is like red alert, like be ready to roll, be ready to throw out as much guesses and as much theories as you can. So not a whole lot for today, especially after we did just get that major hint on 13 or on hint number 12. I just kind of wanted to keep the momentum going and kind of talk about where I'm at, which isn't any progress, but maybe you feel differently. So for the 21st, I know it's now the morning of the 22nd, but for the 21st, I'm just going to say, I think we'll get hit number 14 on Sunday. Once we get that hint, I think the puzzle will be solved within 24 hours, probably sooner. And if we don't get any more hints, then this thing could go on for a while if it hasn't been solved already. Yeah, I know that this is like disappointing in the sense that we had so much momentum yesterday and it felt like we were turning a corner, and now Saturday I'm coming back with, limited notes, limited theories, limited ideas. I guess I'll also just say final answer is at least a 2-part answer, but could be 3 or 4 parts, or even more. Who knows? So we know it's at least a first part answer just because he talks about the first part, the last part, and that hint that we got, which I'll copy and paste just because it is so relevant here. But maybe there's a middle part. Maybe we're going to find out what that middle part is. 2 middle parts, 3 middle parts. I mean, there could be there could be more to this than we know. We don't know if it's just letters that we need for each part. Maybe there's way more parts than this, so no idea at this point. But that's all I have for right now. Not even gonna kind of review everything just because there was only so much that I got. Normally at the end I kind of go through all the notes for today, but not much for me for right now. Probably gonna get back on later in the day though if we do get that hint number 14. So stay tuned. Keep checking the website, keep checking the Discord, and be ready to go, because if hint 14 does come out, then I think this thing is going to be solved within a day. So, despite what Polymarket's telling us. So, stay tuned, and that's all I have for right now. Thank you guys.